If you think about Xamarin.Forms and barcode scanning, you think about ZXing. I've made videos on that. You can see it pop up on your screen right now. But today I found an alternative and I wanted to show you because it's pretty awesome. So before we are going to start look at some code this time, we are going to look at the repository of this nice person who has created this plugin. The nickname is Jimmy Pun. I think his real name is a little bit different. I've already sent him a little message to thank him for this plugin. So, if you like this plugin, please do the same because it's always nice to get some recognition and do something nice for someone else. Isn't it? So if we quickly scroll over this, you can see it's 24 days ago at the time of recording, so it's still maintained. They've upped the dependency to Xamarin.Forms 5, which is really cool. You have something about the requirements that you need for actually using this, some release notes, and down here there is a lot of instructions on what to do. That is, of course, what we're going to see in this video, so don't worry about any of this because I will walk you through this. So one thing that I was wondering, because it's using Firebase and ML kit, so machine learning kit from Google, is if you needed an internet connection for this. And it turns out that they changed a little bit how Firebase works. So they have now an on-device thing where you can use these barcodes and some other things, image labeling, face recognition. So you can use this without an internet connection, and I don't think that they're sending anything back to Firebase as well. For iOS, you do need to install a little plist file that you have to get from Firebase. But I think that is it. On Android, that is not needed. So here, read all the things. You have some different options here. So you can use the flashlight, yes or no. We need to ask for permission. We can see if the torch is on, set is scanning to true, yes or no, and scan from image. So that is interesting because we can actually recognize a barcode from an existing image. Which is that something that you want to see? Because that is going to be too much for this video. But is that something that you're interested in? Please let me know in the video comments and I'll be sure to make a video on that as well. But for now, let's focus on the barcode scanning. Actually, first, let's get that prerequisite of the plist file for iOS. So I'm going to switch over to, actually, let's just click this thing here, console.firebase.google.com. So we're going to open that, and it should open here in a new tab. And whenever we do, you can see I got already a couple of samples and other things set up, but I'm going to add a new project just to walk you through this process as well. What is this going to be named? Well, let's call this barcode sample. Here we go. It creates a little unique identifier for our project. Let's click next. We can say, do we want to enable Google Analytics, yes or no? Of course, that's recommended, but if you don't feel comfortable with this, look into it, what it all is, and enable it or disable it as pleased. So let's continue. We need to then specify an account. Okay, then let's disable it. And we're going to create the account. So this takes a little bit. You can have multiple projects inside of your account. I think the free tier is just that, it's free, so you can start using this for free, and there's probably paid tiers who will give you a little bit extra. I think a lot of you have already asked to do more videos on Firebase, so if that's something that you want, please let me know in the comments and what you want to see specifically. I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of experience with Firebase, but I think there is a lot of cool stuff in here. So okay, here we are in our barcode sample project, and we can get started by adding Firebase to your app. So then first we need to add an app, and that can be iOS, Android, or some web application. I even see Unity here. And for this case, we just need iOS. So depending on what you choose here, you can download the right file. So if we do something for Android, then you can create an Android file, an Android project also within your Firebase project here. And you can download the files needed for that. But in this case, we only need the iOS one. So we're going to do that. We're going to have to specify the bundle ID. I'm not sure if that actually matters, but let's go get the right one from Visual Studio for Mac. Here we go. I already have the project open, and you can get that here. Let's close these from our iOS app, of course. So right click, options, And is it actually in the options? I think it's in the Info.plist, by the way. So let's go in the Info.plist right here. And here I have the bundle identifier, which is NL/XF alternate barcode scanning sample, which is, the reverse domain thing that you need for multiple things. Paste that in here. We're going to say register app. I don't need a nickname or the App Store ID because this is not going to be in the App Store. And here I can already say download Google Service Info.plist. So that is the thing we need. Download that. It will download here. Here we go. So we have that. And now let's get back to our Visual Studio. So here we are. And let's just add that thing first. I don't need to save this. And what you need to do with that is go into your solution, go into the resources of your iOS project, right click, add existing, not existing folder, add existing files. There we go. And I think it's probably in the downloads. And it was called, I have a lot of download stuff that I need to do something with. So here we go, Google Service Info.plist, open that, and let's just move it because I don't need it for anything else, so it's saved. And the one thing that you want to check here is in Visual Studio for Mac, you can right click it and go to the build action. On Windows, you probably need to go to right click and see the properties. But what this needs to be is the bundle resource so that it ends up in the iOS app the right way. So okay, we have that in place. That's cool. Now we can just stay in here. And what we, of course, want to do is install the NuGet package. So actually, what is the name of this package? Let's go back here. Scroll up a little bit. It's BarcodeScanner.XF. Well, that's convenient. So back to Visual Studio, BarcodeScanner.XF. You can see it pulls in a lot of the Android support packages for the Android project. So that's what we need. And you need to install this on all the projects. I think it's only supported on Android and iOS, which is what most of you probably need. But, whenever there's more, maybe you can contribute that to this project if you are willing and able to do that. So we have to wait a little bit for these packages to get added. And when they are added, we need to have a little bit of initialization code to actually initialize this library and get all the things going. Okay, there we go. Packages are installed. So now we can get going. So of course we are going to use the camera. So actually let me get back into that iOS plist. And what we're going to do is add a new entry right here. And I always have trouble with this dropdown. I don't know if that's me or something else. But here in this dropdown, you have under privacy, the camera usage description. That's what we want. And we have to give this a little description because this description is what is shown to the user with like, hey, this is the reason why we need your camera. So we want to scan barcodes, please. There we go, that's all set. So we are using the right permissions on iOS. And the other thing on iOS, let's just stick to iOS for now. I'm going to go to the app delegate. And I'm going to add it right after this load application here. So what you need to do is use Google Vision Barcode Scanner. There we go. iOS.initializer.init. There we go. So I don't think we need to specify anything here. We just need that init call to get all the things in the right place, or maybe, eliminate the thing that this gets stripped out by the compiler at some point. And another thing is we need to say Firebase.core.app.configure. This probably reads that Info.plist that we just added. So we don't need to specify anything. It will just find that file. And there is one thing in the README that is a little workaround. So I'm not sure if this is still needed. Oh, maybe this configure line is also part of that. So check out if you actually need this. You might not have to, but we need to do remote config again, and shared instance. And what this does is basically it creates a variable in C# that is not used for anything. So this is really a dummy thing. So I think this has to do something with, making sure that Firebase gets all the right things. But check out if you actually do need it. It is commented in the sample code with like, hey, this is a workaround for some bug. So maybe the bug is fixed by now. But to be sure, I'm going to implement it right here. So there's that. this is all we need to initialize for iOS. And actually, let's do a bit in the share code right now. So what I'm going to do is here is a GV, I don't know, for Google Vision something. And I'm going to use the camera view. And then we let IntelliSense add the right XML namespace. We have the XML GV, and this is the namespace of our plugin that we've just installed. So now we should have a camera view. Let's do a little bit here with the horizontal options. Let's make that fill and expand so we are sure to cover the whole screen. So we have a nice and big barcode scanner. Here we go. And here we have the APIs for the actual barcode scanning. So on detected, we can have an event for that. Let's implement that one, generate that one. And we can say default torch is on. Let's set that as true. So, you know, automatically the light comes on and we have that torch. Vibration on detected is also cool. So you can have the phone vibrate whenever it picks up on the barcode, yes or no. So let's set that to false because that's not a great demo because you're not going to see any vibrations. Auto start scanning. So you can influence whether the scanning is going on or not. For your barcode scanning. So let's set that to true because we want to actually scan things. And we can even set the requested frames per second. So let's just set that to 30. This can be more or less. Also check like the restrictions there because I can imagine that this is also restricted by the camera on your device. So probably the default value is normally fine, but I just want to show you that the setting is there and you can actually use it. So let's go to our code behind and implement that actual event. So let's go here, camera view on detected. And what we're going to do is we're going to say results is e.barcode results. So this is what is this actually? It's a list of barcode results. So barcode result is an actual object that is provided by this plugin, and it holds all the things of the barcode that is scanned. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop through this. So let's make a string. Well, let's make this a var as well. var result string is string.empty first. Well, let's keep it empty, and then we're going to say for, well, let's make it a for each barcode in results. Oops, we're going to say loop through it, and we're going to say result string dot well, actually let's make it like this, plus is let's do a little string interpolation here. And there's a couple of things that you can do here. So we can first say barcode type, so we can detect the type, which is probably some kind of enum or something. Can we go in here? Oh, it's not. Oh, here we go. Barcode type. Oh, barcode types. So we have unknown, contact info, email, ISBN, phone, product, SMS, text. So this is actually not the type that I expected. I would expect QR or that kind of stuff, but this is actually, it picks up on what the actual information is on this barcode. So ISBN is something for books, or maybe a phone number, or unknown if it's some format that you created for yourself, or maybe it contains a URL. So it will tell you also something about the type. So that is really cool. So actually let's add here type and do that type. And what do we have more? Barcode display value. So of course the actual value that's in here for the actual string. So let's do that and say value, so we can see it's actually correct. And of course what we can say is environment.new line. So each one gets on a new line, although we're just gonna scan one, but you know, probably if you hold this over like multiple barcodes at the same time, it will pick up on all of those. So that is pretty cool, right? So, and then whenever we have this, we can say await display alert, and we can say results message is going to be our result string, and cancel is going to be okay. And we want to make this async then, if we want to use the await, here we go. And in the sample code, he's doing this device.begin invoke on main thread, because probably this barcode scanner might scan all these things on a background thread. So it might be important to actually wrap this in this begin invoke on main thread. In that case, we also need to make this async. And actually this doesn't need to be async then. But so just so you know that you're sure that this gets run on the UI thread, because that's the only way to actually show something on the UI. Now, another thing that you want to do is whenever you want to keep scanning, I think the default behavior is to stop scanning whenever it detects one. You can probably, reach out to that camera view if you've gave it a name, but you can also do it on, whoops, not this one. This, and you have methods. So you also have kind of like a shared instance of this, and we can set is scanning. There we go, to true. So now it will continue scanning for the next one whenever we want to continue scanning, which is usually what you want, or you want to navigate to another page. That's all up to you, of course. So another thing that I found interesting in there that I just jumped over is ask for required permission. I think this is mostly for Android, but we should have this so that it asks for the right permission to be able to use the camera, and for Android also the vibration and the flashlight and all that stuff. So one of the interesting things here is that you can only test this on a physical device. So for Android, I think you have the possibility to hook up a webcam to your Android simulator, your Android emulator, but for iOS, we do not have that option. So I've hooked up my actual physical phone. Let's get this running here. And one of the ways that you can actually simply show your phone is to get the QuickTime player up here. Let's make this a little bit smaller. There we go. And with QuickTime, we can say new screen recording. Well, not screen recording. I always confuse this. So new movie recording then. And what you can then do here is select your iPhone whenever it's hooked up. And then whenever we do, you can see we have some notifications here, but you can see my actual physical phone here. So let's wait until it's deployed. You can see here in the background, Visual Studio for Mac is installing the application. So it should come up here in a little bit. And of course, because, it's a screen recording, so we can record this if you need it for a demo or something. So I see I might be in the way in the camera here. So let me just quickly remove myself so I'm sure to not block anything here. And I'm going to grab somewhere off screen here some random book. So you can see this is the actual camera, and the torch is on. See, you can see my well, it's not that great to see, but you can see my hand. It's my keyboard, and I won't show the mess on my desk. But here I've grabbed some random book. I don't know which one this is. I don't know who these guys are, but it's a book. And whenever we hold up here the barcode, then we should see our dialog coming up, and it says type ISBN, and it says value blah 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 blah, which is the thing that it scans. So that's pretty cool, and it should keep scanning. So whenever I get another random one, here we have something about Blazor, which is also very cool. So whenever I do that one and I scan the barcode again, I think it's a little bit confused over the little light that it sees. It says again ISBN and another value. So that is pretty cool, and how this barcode scanner works very easily. So let's get this out of the way. And actually that is most of the demo. I just want to show you the last part on how to configure this for Android. I'm sure you'll trust me that it also runs on Android just as smooth, but you have to do a little bit extra here. So we need to go to our Android project, and in the main activity as well. So you have to make sure that you have this essentials on request permissions result. Whenever you start a new project, then it will be in here, but whenever you use this on an existing project, make sure to install essentials and look up how to request these permissions, because that is needed to actually request the permissions the right way. But here I'm gonna do this before like all the init stuff here, and what I'm going to say here is again Google Vision barcode scanner, and say droid dot renderer initializer here, And oops, this is just a property, and we can say init again, just like with the other one. So there's that. And that's it for all the initialization. Then the only other thing that we need to do is get the right permission. So for that, we're going to go into our Android project, go to the properties folder, the Android manifest, and you can do this either here through the UI, or you can do this through, editing it directly in the XML if you're familiar with that. But what we need is the camera. So look for camera, the flashlight, right here, the flashlight, and the vibration if you want to use that vibration to actually get that vibration whenever a barcode is scanned. So here we go, do that, save, and now we're also good to go to run on Android. Now, one last thing that I didn't really use is you might want to specify, some type of barcode that you actually want to scan. So together with this, we can also say here Google Vision Barcode Scanner and methods, and we can say set support barcode format. Here we go. And you can look at the barcode formats here, and here we actually have the formats that I was talking about earlier. So you can set it to all, which is the default. It will scan all the detect on all these formats right here. And you can say Aztec, Coda Bar, Code 128, EAN, PDF, QR, and all kinds of more formats. So you can also specifically mention that one format that it should pick up on, which will probably make it a little bit faster. As mentioned, this also works without an internet connection. It doesn't send anything to Google or whatnot, but you can definitely use this as an alternative to the barcode scanner that we know from ZXing, or Zebra, or whatever you want to call it. So this is really cool, and I didn't want to keep you from it. Again, let me know if you want to know about the barcode scanning from an image, recognize it from an existing image, then I'll be sure to make a video on that. Let me know in the comments. The setup might be a little bit more than you're used to, but it's all worth it because this barcode scanner is pretty cool. It's pretty fast. It has a lot of configuration options, so it's really good. If you are looking for an alternative to the ZXing library, this might be it. So make sure to let the author know, support him in some way if you are able to, and let me know if you have this working in your app and what you're doing, because that is pretty cool. Again, I'll mention it for the millionth time. If you want to see that scanning from the image, existing image, and recognize a barcode from that, please let me know in the comments. Or of course, if you have some other library that you want me to check out, then let me know as well. Then all I ask of you is to like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Consider joining my channel as a membership. I've also set up a little Discord server that I'm trying out. Whenever you subscribe to my channel and become a member, then you will get an extra special role, which had some perks, so that is really cool. And of course, I will see you for my next video. Keep coding.